All right, we're back from our little vacation, and while the weather was raining a little bit, we decided we'd take this dirt from our last project, and now that the snow is gone, of course, and we're raking up the soil, throwing down two different grasses, and one of them's easier. That's a little much there, bro. One of them's a little easier to maintain, and then one of them was the Kentucky bluegrass to try to see how everything will come up. So we got this big section, and then of course that stuff we planted by the tree, but I got to rake everything up. So we'll show you a little clip of this, and then of course the other million projects we're doing. Right, Harley?
Yep.
Smile for... He's such a good helper. Started this ranger project before spring break. Figured I'd pick right back up when we got home, but then reality hits, back to the grind, and juggling about 3 different lives at once, with YouTube, work, and of course the boys and school, all while trying to build something real as a one-man army. But we're finally back under the hood on the Ranger, rebuilding the top end, gaskets, heads, lifters, push rods, rocker arms, and of course, right out of the gate, I forgot to order the head bolts. Now, I'm not here to teach a class, I'm just showing you the process, sharing what I can and keeping it real. Sometimes it's helpful, and sometimes it's just a guy giving it everything as he goes. They say hard times make strong men, and apparently long breaks make that man cuss for a bit and not order head bolts. Either way, the grind don't stop. So, let's get back to it. We're finally back at it, and I'm ready. Just kind of cleaning some things up, wiping things off. But I think I'm ready to throw the gaskets and everything on. So, I'll set the camera up, and we'll see if we can get this Ford Ranger project finally going. Well, I've got everything cleaned up and almost ready, but I forgot one big step, and the cylinder head bolts are torqued to yield, and so they can't be reused. They're not supposed to be, and I don't know, that's all I know about them. I've got the other ones ordered. As soon as those come in, I'm just going to cover everything back up. We should be ready to rock and roll and throw everything together, and then we can hopefully get this thing started, running, and back on the road. Well, I got the head bolts. I normally would get, I usually use ARP. There's a couple different ones. They're just better bolts as far as their tensile strength and everything. I did use it on that project, and of course I'll use them on this project. But with this little Ford Ranger, I'm not that worried about it. I mean, like I said, I don't want any problems, but I'm also on a crunch time and trying to get this thing done. You can see they're labeled.
I look into your eyes, I see we're out of time. I guess no one's to blame, nobody crossed the line.
So I got a little paint marker and the T55 torques to mark those when we get them. We got like 3 steps, I guess, or ranges of torquing. I think the first one's 22, and then 51 to 55, and then you do your 90 degrees. So we'll grab those heads, put one on, we'll get them started.
We're always gonna last. Yeah, I do remember tears and the laughter. How could we fall so fast? Will be no hard goodbyes, thank God we're civilized.
Oh, by the way, you if you have a thread chaser and stuff to chase those threads with, clean them out good. I took, and mine weren't bad anyway, but I did take and blow everything out and kind of clean everything out. So I didn't have a thread chaser, but I bought one special for my other trucks. Anyway, just so you know, it's always a good idea, like I said, just to go through and thoroughly clean everything you can. So I'm just going to get them started, snug them down, and then I'll go through the torque sequence, which I have on my phone. And that's the thing, I have like a PDF format or a link or whatever for a lot of the instructions and stuff, because every vehicle's different. Every vehicle has its own little torques and things, so you have to make sure you get all that right, especially the torque sequences and other things. And if you don't know, always refer to, like I said, owner's manual. But usually when you're doing this kind of stuff, you're stepping outside those boundaries and going into aftermarket things, which most of them have the instructions, and then in certain areas, whether it's torquing or other things, they'll tell you to refer to your manual. When in doubt, make a phone call, call someone that knows, or a friend or whatever. Sometimes these are different lengths and everything too, for the different heads and applications. So with this 90 degrees torquing, we'll hit that last highest torque spec, and then we'll mark it and then hit our 90 degrees. It comes with the little instructions, but I also have that one on the manual, and I'll just double check both just to make sure. Yeah, just for reference. You can see, maybe, I don't know if I got the lighting or anything in there. And then this is the paper. They're the same thing. So we should be good. It also does say, after that last step of torquing, not the 90 degree step, but the 51 to 55, you give it 5 minutes and then come back and do your 90 degrees. So we'll set this to 22. You always have to make sure you're on the right setting. Foot-pounds for this. Let's see, there's sure I'm on 20 there. 22. Okay. So 22. And in order. One being this one. 2. And usually, for those who don't know, usually you go like in a pattern crisscross. I mean, it all depends on the application, but next setting in the same sequence. So there's 30, 40, 50, and I'm gonna go meet in the middle. We'll go 53. Okay. Now, 5 minutes. We'll give it 5. Come back to 90. So now we can mark them. So, just for the sake of making it facing this way, I'm going to mark them all this way. See, all those are marked, and I just did them all the same direction, obviously to make it easy. Just like that. And then I'll go 90 degrees from there. All right, it's probably been closer to 8 or so minutes. So you guys, I showed you where I marked them, and now I'm going to turn them at 90 degrees, which is a quarter turn. So everything on this side and that side should all be facing that direction. So here we go. And oh, I got my just want to make sure I'm on the right path. And I got a breaker bar instead of my torque wrench. It's just easier for this step, for me anyway. All right, if I didn't miss any, then we should be good. And that was tough. I could have used a ratchet, but I just didn't think I could get as much leverage knowing that they'd be quite a bit tighter. But we got it, so here is the aftermath. And you can see those marks. Everything's facing the same direction. Sorry, I'm all over the place with the camera. Same here. So that means we can move on to the next step. So we'll get that ready. See what all I need, get everything ready, and we'll start on that project, or that part of it, next. Again, this one's labeled front
of colors, I don't know where to go. See a lot of colors.
These two spots here and on the back, we'll have to put the RTV. I probably always use more than I needed, but that's just because I don't like to worry about it. I don't like to put too much on either, but I think I'd rather have too much than not enough.
While you're on the open sea, cannot take this anymore. There are a lot of voices drowning in the sea. There's too many voices talking back at me. There are a lot of choices waiting to be made. Too many choices making me afraid. Dreams are not the same for me. Standing by the shore while you're on the open sea. Cannot take.
I will put the link for one of the PDF or I don't know, whatever the site is for some of the cylinder head instructions, and then I have I think it's called the Ranger Station. Yeah, the Ranger Station I found a few years ago, and that's like a forum, and they always have a lot of good stuff on there, and I'll put that link on here. And I'm not good at this stuff, so if I forget, I'm sorry now. And then I have this, which I just pulled up off the Ranger Station. And if you can see it, hopefully. I don't know how to get that thing to focus. Hold on. And so you can see it says the lower intake manifold bolts, and it's going into steps 1 through 5. And you go up, you know, either in foot pounds or inch pounds, but I'm going to go probably foot pounds. I'll see what I got. I got an inch pound torque wrench also, but I'll try to also link that in there. That's way better. So there's 2. Back here to 3.
The open sea cannot take this anymore. Cannot take this anymore. Cannot take this anymore.
Okay, that was the 5th step. I went to 210. You can see in inch pounds. It says I can go up to 216. I might bump it up just a little bit, 215 or something. But as I remember, I don't know if you guys remember me telling you earlier, usually a torque pattern inside out or whatever, depending on the specification or the whatever you want to call it, the breakdown of it. And this one, as you can see for the lower manifold, was actually the outside, and then we worked our way in. So, like I said, it all depends on the application and everything. But that might be all I'm going to get done. I got all the fuel injectors that fuel injector manifold and everything that goes in there. I need the rockers and everything, so I might do all this next and then start on that upper. Once I get a lot of this lower portion stuff out of the way, and then start on that upper one and then tying everything in. I've got the harmonic balancer I gotta torque it a little bit more, but the truck wanted to move. So once I get everything done, that'll be one of the last steps I do, and I'll finish torquing that. But like I said, yeah, from there, I just gotta start working my way in and getting everything put together and try to get it finished up. So that's where we're at. Now, just so you're aware, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm not tightening these or torquing them down with the impact. I'm just giving it a few of the old ugga-duggas, getting it snug, and then it will be ready for torque. Just like that. All right, just making sure all the rods and cylinders are in place. These are not tight yet, obviously. So next, I'm going to torque these rocker arm bolts down. 24 pounds is what it says. And I'm just going to go in the firing order. And then I got to find top dead center and adjust and make sure my rods and valves and everything are adjusted right. So hopefully I can squeeze this all in the video. Like I said, I probably won't, because it just, time I cram everything into like 20-30 minutes, it cuts out so much or speeds it up, you don't get to see all the details anyway. But I guess you'll get the gist of it, and you can always reach out with any questions, that I have or I may know or what I've done. But I am not a mechanic, and like I said, I'm not no professional. This is just me doing my own thing. So anyway, let's do it. Okay, so my next step is to go through and adjust these rockers with the valves, and I'm supposed to be able to spin that rod, tighten this down, and when it stops spinning, when it's not free, then I'm done. I'm going to mark them all and then give them one full turn. I did it once, but it just felt like everything was so tight. So I just wanted to double check, make sure I still got my top dead center and everything on the compression side. So even though it, like I said, it might feel tight, that's what it says to do. So that's what I'm going to try. If something goes wrong, you'll see a video coming out of me tearing this motor out of the Ford Ranger and taking it to the scrap yard. Just kidding. All right, let's get going. So right now they're free. Oh, that one tightened right up. Right there. That's pretty close. I'll go here more. Okay. I'm going to grab a ratchet. Okay. Oh, shit. I got to change that timing. I forgot about that. So I got to turn that. Free that back up. I got to spin that over now. And rotate that. I don't know, 120 degrees or something until the other one's top dead center. I may run over the camera with the truck.
I can't shake it. I can't break it. I can't get away from you. You pull me in. Your sweet allure, it is too much for me. You got me on my
I think I'm going to snug him right there. And when my boy gets home from school, I'll have him help me. I might just squeeze this all into one video and then you'll see if I get that side done or not. But I've just got a lot more to do still. Go back to work tomorrow morning. It's just tough. This whole YouTube thing, I thought, it won't be too bad. But trying to work full time, do this, do some other things that I'm still working on. And man, it's tough. It doesn't seem like I have much free time. Almost at all, but I guess we'll see what time he gets home. Thanks so much again for watching though. Finally got some work done on the Ranger and a whole lot of oil under the fingernails. Didn't quite finish, but that's coming up in the next one, once I've got an extra set of hands. We're almost there, so stay tuned for the next Ranger video. Remember, work hard, live free, and until the next time, God bless. And as always, be the buffalo.